Okay, today's guest is the curator Juan. She's a curator from China. I'm sorry. She's a curator from China working between Germany and China. Hi, John, and thanks for accepting this invitation. I wanted to start by asking you a little bit about your practice as a curator, and if you want to talk about a project that you are particularly honored to have brought into life.
Yeah, pleasure. Thank you.
Okay.
I think you know me during this project, Board Girls. So we met each other in China. Now it is almost 10 years now. So I would first a little bit introduce this project. This project has a very good considering in the world, art world, especially in feminism. But now, since 2015, we have a very big problem to do exhibition in China because of the political situation in China. So, firstly, um, we thought it was over, just for 1 or 2 years we could return China again. So, but since 2015, some artists, female artists and activists were arrested. So it is now for us very dangerous to do in China. So at the moment, it's very interesting because last year, 2019, I have planned 2 exhibitions in China, in Chengdu and in Tianjin. And this was in February. We thought it was almost come to a lockdown, and we thought, oh, it's I have almost already bought the tickets to China. And in that time, I have hoped, yeah, it's over in 2 months. People said you have to wait 2 weeks at home and everything's over. So I thought, yeah, it's just a short time lockdown in China, so we can wait a little bit. Maybe in April or May, we can go there do some exhibition. 2 months later, it's come to Europe. Since that, it's a new reality.
And how do you feel about the response from the art world to convert online exhibitions? You have curated online exhibitions lately, the project specifically Zero Edge exhibitions, but also all other institutions are converting their exhibitions online, their art fairs online. What do you think about that? How do you feel by looking at an exhibition online?
And I talked with some of the artists yesterday, how they feel, how do they think about online art fair and online shows. Or almost everyone said they cannot really replace the physical exhibition. I would just see was waiting for the new time, new normality, but it didn't come. So my friends, our curator friends, art friend in China, called me, said, "Hey, what do you think we do an online show together?" It was not very clear how do the online show, because you cannot imagine how do you show video and other things. And but Mr. Shung said, I have done already one. I was that time I was very happy to hear something new possibility. The problem is the online show. Now it is on one side is easy to make, in somehow you can you know their technique. Otherwise you have so many things on digital offer, so you cannot really show the people the consider is not so big. That is a big problem, but I don't see any other alternative. So how do you think? What's
Yeah, it's a very tough question because I think up until now art still is very physical. So we don't have holograms or something actually that is thought to be consumed digitally. So
yeah,
it's very difficult to convert the experience of a physical exhibition into an online one. But
yeah,
it has been the only way to actually keep the world going and showing art. Um,
yeah,
I'm interested in asking you what would you tell artists, because I know you are trying to keep on doing this, inviting artists to keep on working online and responding to the crisis. So I would like
yeah,
you to tell artists what would you suggest them to keep doing, because we are going to live with this virus for a long time. A lot of countries are getting into a new lockdown. um, so physical exhibitions seem to be always getting very far away from doing right now. So what would you tell artists to do right now to respond?
yeah. I have talked with a lot of artists. They all have problem with financial and individual personal crisis. So because of the pandemic, you cannot show your works. You don't have incoming, and you have really crisis. I mean, in art world it was not easy before the pandemic crisis. So, but this crisis is now very strong and big than before, you know, in the art world. So on one side, you have a lot of time to concentrate yourself to do something, create artworks. On the other side, you cannot think properly. It's just heaven. So, Sandra, I think that's what's interesting to introduce the current project, Sharing Crisis. Um, every day you feel in somehow in crisis. So, but so we just think we could make this feeling in a way, an art way to present it. But now everyone stays in his own house and home. But now we have this digital world, beautiful digital world, we could use it. So that's the idea. The Sharing Crisis project, you could feel, post anything, how do you feel? And anything to do with the crisis. It is not just about a pandemic. It is could have to do with any crisis, personal, financial, any crisis. So I think it was a wonderful idea. A lot of artists, we at the beginning we just think we were just want to have a performer artist, but now we will accept also conceptual artists. You know, you have to keep going and creating things and motivate the artists to do things. So I think I'm now very positively. So because I don't know how about Italy. In Germany, the people, the artists get a lot of support from the state.
Well, we don't. We don't get any support from the state. But I like to point out a little bit what you just said about the project sharing crisis 99, where artists are invited to publish 9 works, and share their feelings about any crisis. It
Yeah,
doesn't have to be the
any,
pandemic thing. And so I find it really interesting because in a way is to ask artists to, through art, to heal, like
yeah.
let's try to digest this horrible feeling and not just live with it inside.
So I think it's not perfectly, but it's could the alternative at the moment. So
Yeah, it can bring some serenity to artists' life and other people to just be able to share and use the digital world to actually share the truth of their feelings.
well, maybe I think yesterday I saw a talk with a lot artists, German artists. So what may be interesting if the crises keep going, we have to organize as artists, a curator, critical, a little bit more and build a platform to present ourselves. Or maybe there are some funds for artists in Europe, because I heard, I don't know how about Italy, but in East Europe, they have nothing. So I think it's very important to consider art as a system relevant, in not the artist, because an art is luxury. So it's very important to motivate the artists to present it themselves and how they their feelings and to survive this crisis. Really can use this crisis, create some really good works, because crisis means also opportunities.
It's interesting to think that maybe this crisis and your invitation as a curator to communicate more about your feelings and crisis, I think maybe that will help also to bring evolution to artists' work, because maybe before we were all a little bit more limited by the art market or what we should work, and we were too maybe selecting too much certain type of work. And with this pandemic times and the fact that we have to use the digital world, maybe people is going to explore other sides of their artworks, and maybe it will bring definitely an evolution onto each artist's work.
Evolution and a revolution, no question. But I don't think it's just a crisis better than no crisis. Somehow for the art and artists, that's also something very special. Not everyone get such crisis like coronavirus.